So, ladies and gentlemen, our next topic is going to be customer engagement and quality in few moments. Yes. Or maybe only one moment, because he's ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, with us here today is a young entrepreneur with a range of experiences in marketing and business development. Please welcome with me the digital entrepreneur, Mr. Moayad Wali.
Test. Well, it's already 5 and I don't want to keep you guys for long, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to say hi and goodbye. But before I begin, can you all please stand up? All of you? Even the cameraman? Nice to see you all. Just want to make sure you guys are all awake after this beautiful lunch we had, so please have a seat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Moayad Wali and I'm a digital entrepreneur. I worked for a few of the biggest companies in Kuwait, if I may say. Al-Shaya, which we heard a lot from today, Hamidi, and Maserati Al-Zayani. And then I left. And a lot of people told me, are you crazy? Does anyone leave Maserati as a marketing manager in Kuwait where people can't find jobs? I was like, yes. Because a lifelong friend and a partner came to me with a vision. He sold me an idea. He made me feel that I want to work. And that's something I haven't felt for a long time. I used to go to work just like every single day, a normal day, and feel like, nah, it's just a job. We just want the money at the end of the day. We don't feel engaged. And customer engagement doesn't only apply in business when you're selling products to customers. It's something that if you look at from a different perspective would give you another understanding. It's something that we all feel on every single day, whether we're with our families, with our friends, and even with our close loved ones. Before I proceed, I'll tell you all a small story. When I decided to run for elections in university as a president of the Business Society. I used to go to AUM, the American University of the Middle East. Some of you might not know AUM because it's quite new, but it's one of the booming universities in the region. And I decided to run for elections. And as a non-Kuwaiti, it was 1 versus 10 nationals were also running for elections in the same place. And I wasn't even good looking back then, to be honest. So I decided to run for elections. And I was thinking, how am I going to convince those people, they're all nationals, it's 99%, to vote for me? And I decided the best way is to trigger their feelings, to make them live the vision I had in my head. Because I'm not going to go to them and tell them, I'll guarantee your message will get across to management and all of that. And I'm not going to sell them my traits. I'm not going to sell them the specifications of the product, which in that case is me. I'm going to sell them a feeling, a vision. And that's what I did. And that's how I met my partner, to be honest, in university. And I told them, I'll make sure that this university and the students at this university will get what they deserve. Not because I can speak good English or because I have good connections with the management. I gave them what they want to see in the future. And I made it. I became the president of the Business Society after the elections, and it was a very, very tough time, but it makes you understand how people think. People think from their feelings. That's how you engage with them. Some of you might be familiar with this person, while others might not. Simon, he's the author of the book Start With Why, speaks about how it's from the inside out, how you need to convince people that to buy why you're selling things, not what you're selling. And I experienced this in my last job at Maserati. Maserati is not the easiest car to sell. You guys would know. our sponsors of the event. And a lot of people who work in media would know that as well. Maserati is not the most beautiful car. It's not the best performing car. And it's not the most tech-savvy car. So if you compare it to its competitors, our German friends, it's not that much of a car that has a, let's say, a stronger hand over its competitors. So the idea was, how am I going to convince people to come and buy a Maserati? And the key, or at least what I found was the key, is to sell what people feel when they drive a Maserati, not what people will experience as in a car. And as all of you know, it's an Italian brand, so people feel, I'm driving a Maserati, nobody will talk to me, with the Italian accent. But in reality it's not that easy. But when we started saying that the new Levante, the SUV, and I'm not here to pitch a Maserati to any of you because I don't work there anymore. I'm just talking about the experience. When we pitched the Levante, we told people it's the Maserati of SUVs. That means that this car will give you the feeling that you always feel when you drive or wear Italian clothes. It's not the best performing SUV, it's the Maserati of SUVs. Does it make sense? Yeah? Well, I don't think we have that much of an engaging audience today. I think all of you are still sleepy because of the good meal, but I believe if anybody disagreed, they would have said so. To make things short, all of you are familiar with those two logos, right? If you close your eyes and imagine Real Madrid, you would see a completely different image than when you close your eyes and imagine Barcelona. Those two clubs are built on different things. So when people support them, they support them because of their beliefs in those things. Real Madrid, when I close my eyes and imagine them, all I see is money, them buying the best performers from all other clubs. And just for the record, I don't support either of those two. All right? In Barcelona, when you close your eyes and imagine them, you imagine Lionel Messi and how he grew from the Barcelona club to become the world's best performing players, whereas Real Madrid's best performing player in the last decade was a person they bought from my club, or the club I support, Cristiano Ronaldo. Exactly. And this makes you know or recognize why you support those two different clubs. Now, some of you might say, no, I don't support them because of how I feel about their past or their image. I support them because I like the way they play. That's true. But at the same time, there's innate feelings that you might not recognize of why you support those two clubs. This gentleman over here, just like myself, he wasn't the best looking football player in his days, but at the same time, he was the most consistent football player in his days. Paul Scholes, a Manchester United midfielder, was so consistent that his nickname was Sat Nav in trainings. That means he can get the ball across to you no matter where you were on the football pitch. And if you understand football, that's one of the best traits to have. And I didn't put Paul Scholes' picture up there because I like him. That's not the reason. Consistency in engaging your customers through getting them to feel engaged with you is the key to success. I'm not going to tell you how to engage them because that differs from one field to another. Engaging customers in automotive is not like engaging customers in the food business. You can't give them vouchers to come and eat with you for free. You can't give them a car every day to make them happy. But you have to figure out what engages your customers and how to communicate that, and then make sure you're consistent. And as I promised you, my presentation won't take long, but hopefully you will take a message away from this. And the next slide will be my wrap-up. Can somebody please name this gentleman on the horse? Thank you very much. Do you guys know that this gentleman is not even French? Perfect. He comes from an island off the shore of France called, if I'm not mistaken, Corsica. And he had to go to France to fight for the French army, which was a country he dislikes because they invaded his island. And he had to go there because military service was apparently mandatory and fight for a country he despised. And during his time in France, in the military, an opportunity came up, which was the French Revolution, which most of you studied even back in school. And in the French Revolution, he saw it as an opportunity for him to rise up the ranks. And he did, as all of you know. And the thing that makes Napoleon stand out is not his looks. It's not the way he conducts himself around others. It's not his personality alone. It's his character. He had a very brave personality. When he commanded a group of men, he would be the first person on the line of fire. He would lead by example. And that's something, unfortunately, we don't see nowadays that often in businesses. We don't see people acting the way they want their employees to act. We would see people sitting behind a chair in a very big office with an espresso machine in the corner, telling you what to do, but not leading by example. And that's, my friends, what differentiated Napoleon from the rest of his colleagues during the French Revolution and made him lead one of the biggest armies in the world. And he was very brave enough to try new tactics which people were scared of. And that's another thing that stops us from reaching our potential. We're always too scared to try new things. Just like I was scared when I submitted my resignation from Maserati and said, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to trust my lifelong friend, and we're going to go and set up this business. And I'm not going to tell you what we're building, because what we're building is very confidential, and we can only share it with you guys by April or May next year. All right? But the fear inside of us can also be the driving factor that will help us reach our potential. So if we continue to sit behind our big chairs and our fancy offices and have our Nespresso every day, we will never know what our team can do unless we go downstairs and lead by example and show them how engaging we are with them, so that in return, they will be engaging with your customers. It all depends on you and how you do it. This is it from my side. I hope I wasn't speaking for too long. I'm sure you all had a very long day. So I just want to say it's a pleasure seeing you all here. Thank my partner for attending, and hope you all have a lovely evening. Thank you.